You can't understand that. You don't understand that because you're so spoiled with the information and technology we have today where we can just press a button, get in, get out. Seconds. Be on the other side of a bridge, and then someone goes and has a typical thing that anybody else would have normally while they're doing construction on the bridge. You only have one lane, and then their engine dies, and you're on a trade. You can't get out, and you can't move, and you lose your account that day because you thought you were smart enough not to use a stop loss. And Copper said, not today. That's the stuff that I lived through. That I did that stuff. So there's a lot of people out there that'll tell you, this is where I made this much money. This is where I made this much money. This is where I made that much money. I did this. I did that. I did this. Nobody is comfortable telling you where they messed it up. They want to hide it. They want to delete it like it didn't happen. Most of my mentoring is telling you what it's going to be really like. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't pretend that I didn't come from humble beginnings where it was very hard, next to impossible, and I quit dozens of times. That's what I called it. But folks that's been around me for a while just know that this meant code word for I need a break. I need another job to get some money scratched up because I didn't have a lot of it. But that motivation that leads you to the dance and you're watching the charts, you got to guard your mind and really stick your heels in, dig them in deep and say, okay, yeah, that button's right there. I can push it. I can push that button. Any time I want to push that button, it's going to get me in the trade. But am I entering the trade based on my model with the logic in mind that I'm entering in the opposing direction of where I see the profit? So if I'm bullish, I got to be entering when prices drops. It's got to be dropping. If it doesn't drop, I'm chasing. I can't do that. You can't do that. When you do these types of trades and you're buying while markets are moving away from your expected directional draw or where your limit order to take profit or partials are, number one, you're going to overcome a lot of fear that most traders have because they have confirmation bias. Every trader out there goes through a stage of they need to have confirmation bias. They have to know that they're in the trade and they're on side. Then they're willing to give up a large portion of the first initial run. And then all of a sudden now they have courage. Oh, I know I'm right now. I'm really right now. And then they chase it. And now their stop loss has to be so much larger. And while they're in that trade, it might pan out. It might go exactly where they thought it was going to go originally and probably never have any drawdown. It might be just they're buying it and it just starts running and ripping away. That's really what they want. But you know what? When that happens, that's a terrible thing because it's teaching you to do bad things and expect good results. It don't make any sense, right? But you'll convince yourself at the time that this is what's right for you. In the absence and the void of any real experience, sound logic, you're going to create your own right there in the heat of the moment. And that motivation becomes impulse. And for those of you that have traded with real risk of losing something, not a demo, reset is the worst that could happen. I'm talking about you lost your funded account. You lost your combine that you were working hard for. Traded with real money. You know exactly what I'm talking about in the dozens of times that you've been here. You have to have a model. But before that model is useful to you, you have to know what price is likely to do. What characteristics does it show? How does it behave in the morning? How does it behave in the afternoon? How does it behave in those respective sessions after a big up close day or down close day or an inside day? They're all characteristics that you need to study and associate with over a period of time. And you're not going to be able to do it in just a few short weeks or a couple months. It takes time. Some of you are just so willing to assume risk, hoping that you're right like a lottery win, that you throw all sound logic and reason out the window because you just want to have something to hang your hopes on. Because if you make a little bit of money, A little bit of money is better than what you were doing before, right? If I could just make $100 a week. Yeah, I can see that. In today's world, that means something. That might be your gas being covered for the week, back and forth to work. Things are expensive.